I felt they would turn their backs on me. They treated me like a liar. And if this were to happen a second time, I'm not sure if I can go through with that again. But I am at peace knowing I did nothing wrong. This video is brought to you via the Doctrine of Fair Use, the Fair Dealing, and the Digital Millennium Act. Iga Swiatek would lose a third time to Corey Coco Gauff at the United Cup. She would experience fatigue and call for medical treatment to her left thigh. But just ahead of the Australian Open, the question everyone wants answered: will Iga Swiatek win her first Australian Open championship? Iga Swiatek recently stated to Tennis Insider, "I couldn't go on court for 2 weeks because I felt it was because of tennis I'm in this position." That's right, guys. The recent doping scandal with the ITIA has left Iga Swiatek the media focus just ahead of the Australian Open. Iga felt a lot of fans turn their backs on her. And covering tennis, I can personally tell you, that's true. A lot of people have turned their backs on her, but a lot of people have been supporting her as well because the ITIA released the findings of their investigation, and they determined that Iga Swiatek was not at fault. You had other players come forward, such as Simona Halep, citing special treatment from the ITIA. Novak, the greatest male tennis player of all time, came forward and said it does appear that there are some inconsistencies, right, in their investigations. Some people, when they are having positive tests, their stories are being released instantly, while others are having their stories kept secret while an investigation is conducted more thoroughly. So Novak cites inconsistency with the ITIA. My personal opinion, I mean, I guess I can agree, but each case is differently. So each case will be handled differently. So I agree with Iga in that aspect. But I do think, in terms of what Novak has to say, before the media is involved, I think every case should be looked at thoroughly. Because once you release these stories, you can't take them back, and they're horrible. So I think Iga, being the world's ranked number one, they took their time with it. You can't blame the ITIA for taking their time investigating the world's ranked number one. There's a lot of sponsors, endorsements, a lot of money at play. So I respect the ITIA for taking their time with Iga's investigation. In terms of Simona Halep's investigation, I think they really rushed to judgment. And again, she was proven innocent. So I think they really rushed that story, covering the U.S. Open. And when she lost to Daria, the way they released that so fast, I just thought that was horrible. That was a nightmare. But I want to take a look at the Australian Open, Iga's draw in particular, because I think Iga has... Now, I don't want to say she has an easy draw. There's no easy match in tennis. But I would certainly say Iga Swiatek's draw is possibly a lot easier than Coco's. You know, whenever you are opening your slam draw against a slam champion, a former top 5 player, that's not an easy first round matchup. And I don't understand what is going on with Sofia Kenin. We're going to talk about Coco next, but I'll pivot quickly. I don't know why Sofia Kenin, big game Sofia Kenin, continues to get these ridiculous draws. Her first round matchups have been ridiculous. Do they not like Sofia? Do they not like... What is going on? Sofia Kenin's draws, I'm just not happy with them. I don't want to see Sofia playing Coco in the first round. Why? We don't want to see that. Not in the first round. But, you know, again, these matchmakers, they want the fans to enjoy these matches. And the reality is, you know, you can play your way into a second, third, fourth round matchup that will be a blockbuster. But sometimes there's no other way to build the suspense but put it in the first round. Win or go home. You can't stay here any longer. You have to pack your bags and go. First round matchup, let's get it on. So I understand it. You know, for example, Osaka, Caroline Garcia. Osaka mentioned, look, we're becoming best friends. We're playing so much in these first round. Yeah, between her and Caroline Garcia, which I think that's a bit ridiculous as well because both ladies have been vocal about that matchup. Osaka a little bit more. She's been very vocal about having to play Caroline Garcia so frequently lately. I mean, what, 3 times last year? This would be the 4th time in the last year, if I'm not mistaken. A little too much. So we're going to talk about all that later, but let's continue with Iga Swiatek, guys. We're going to take a look at her draw and where I think she could possibly go wrong. So her first round matchup, she's going to take on, from the Czech Republic, Katerina Siniakova. That's going to be a good matchup. Okay, now we know Katerina, always a threat to win a double slam, a golden slam winner, right? She's got the gold medal. She's won every single doubles slam with Barbora. Amazing talent. But I remember at one point, Katerina was headlining 250s. Very solid talent. She gets criticized about her serve a lot. I think that just long wind-up motion on her serve prevents her returning to be as best as it can be. Now, taking on someone like Iga Swiatek, it's a tailor-made matchup. Iga's quick on the return. I just feel Katerina's long wind-up serve, she's going to be on the back foot right away in these rallies. I think Iga wins that matchup. I think a potential showdown, I think let's just get right into it because I was going to do a video on this later, but you can't really do a video on it without bringing it up. Emma Raducanu, Ekaterina, that's going to be a very good matchup, right? Now, my personal opinion is very simple. You have Emma Raducanu, who is the favorite in this matchup. She hasn't played. She's injury prone. She's taking on Ekaterina, who at least got a very good victory over Leylah Fernandez, who's playing the best talent in the world. She's in shape. I do not see how Emma Raducanu's going to win this match. You have someone like Ekaterina who serves very well, right? She can put up 8 aces a match. She will have her double faults, yes, but the powerful ground strokes from Ekaterina that Emma's going to have to deal with, and yes, forehand backup matchup for the most part, if Emma can get to her backhand, which is one of the best in the world, she'll have success. But I think it's going to be a little bit too much pressure having not played. And of course, look, she's injury prone. I know she's practicing. I know she's getting ready for, again, one of the 4 biggest stages on tennis. But I don't like the matchup for someone that hasn't played to have to deal with these powerful ground strokes from Ekaterina. I'm going to take Ekaterina to win that matchup. I think Iga gets past Katerina. That will set up possibly a matchup between, now, Shrampkova, very good. I just think she's a little too one-handed dominant versus Katie Volynets, who can switch up with her backhand and forehand. Katie's going to move a little bit better. I think overall, both ladies are good shot makers. I would give the edge to Katie Volynets. I would give Rebecca the power edge. So if she can really get to her power early in the rallies, then Katie's going to be in trouble. Once these rallies get past 4, 5, 6 shots, the edge is going to go to Katie every single time. So Katie just has to really get balls back. She'll be fine. I'm going to give Katie the edge there. That's going to set up a matchup between Iga and Katie. I think Katie wins that matchup. A potential matchup between Amanda Anisimova and Carly. Here's the thing here. Carly loves to use defensive slices. She loves to use her one-handed backhand. Carly is predominantly a clay player. Amanda is going to be powerful ground strokes, good serve. Carly's going to have the stamina advantage, even though she gets tired too. She's going to have the stamina advantage. If Carly can take this into 3 long, grueling sets, I think she beats Amanda because Amanda breaks down mentally and her stamina is not that great. So even though Carly does get tired, I think Carly has a stamina edge. I think Carly's going to have the mental edge as well. Carly's a very mentally tough player, but I'm going to go with Amanda to win that match. If she shows up, even a shell of herself, she should beat Carly. So I have a showdown between volley nets and Iga. I like Iga to win that. That's going to be the round of 32. So we're going to set up a round of 16 matchup, right? That's going to be the round of 64 between Katie volley nets. We're going to set up a round of 32 matchup where I feel after Amanda beats Carly and Ekaterina beats Emma Raducanu, I think Ekaterina beats Amanda. So that's going to give us a round of 32 matchup between Ekaterina and Iga. And this is going to be possibly the slip up that can occur in Iga's draw. Because overall, aside from this round of 32 matchup, I think Iga Swiatek has a pretty straightforward draw. This is going to be the only challenge she really has. And if not, she'll find herself in the quarterfinal. Now, I want to talk about this matchup between Ekaterina and Iga. These two ladies have played 5 times, right? Iga owns a head-to-head 3-2. The most recent last year in Miami, where Ekaterina won that. Now, this is important to me because, look, they've played 5 times. 2 of the 5 times have gone 3 sets. Always a tough matchup on clay a couple years ago. Another tough matchup I called, covered, predicted, told you Ekaterina would cover when Iga was just dominating. I do feel the win last year at Miami, Iga's in good form. She won the Indian Wells. Right now, I don't think Iga's in great form. I'll say she's in good form, but I think the media stories, the drama that's going on, the fatigue, like I'm telling you guys, I've been telling you about Iga's fatigue. And to hear her recently state that if this happens the second time, she's I love tennis, but not that much. Excuse me. I love tennis, but not that much. If this happens the second time, I don't think I can go through it. Mentally, she's breaking down. Right? There's a lot. This is a lot. These are young ladies, and they're stuff. They're strong. They're tough. We all love them, but this is a lot to deal with. And I'm telling you guys, everything I say comes true. When Iga is unable to defend her French Open championship, that's going to be a huge blow mentally for her. But I want you guys to realize, once she's not that dominant force, she starts to slip down in the top 10, in the teens. She starts to slow down. In my personal opinion, I feel she's bottom heavy right now, a little too much. Iga's going to walk away. I don't see Iga playing in her 30s. I do not see it. She told you she doesn't love tennis that much. I think she wants to be number one. She wants the championship. She wants the accolades. She wants to win. But Iga's not going to play in her 30s, which is why when we're talking about long careers and double-digit Grand Slams, I think her window's shrinking. This is my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own. I think her window is shrinking, and I do think that she walks away from tennis before 30, right? So her overall legacy will be affected by this ITIA mess, even though she's been proven innocent, right? She's been proven innocent. Give her the benefit of the doubt. But this tournament, I think she's going to have to at least make the quarterfinal, go deep. She's going to have to prove to these haters and these critics, because people have their own opinion and they're speaking. You have professionals, allegedly Nick Carroll, stating, look, this sends the wrong message to kids. The insiders are talking. People feel what they feel. They think what they think. And I think this is a very important tournament for her. But I think she could be bounced out by Ekaterina. I really do. Because I don't think Iga's looked great. I don't think her stamina's great. And I think potentially, I don't even know if she wins 5 titles this year, to be honest with you. But personally, I don't think Iga wins a Grand Slam this year. I don't think she's going to win the Australian Open because I don't think we're going to talk about Coco's draw. If she meets any one of the top, possibly top 4 players, I would say, in particular, if she meets Sabalenka or Coco, I don't think Iga's beating any of them. All right. I don't think she beats Sabalenka or Coco here. For the French Open, you have a lot of young, strong clay players coming up, but potentially, I would say really watch out for Coco, Sabalenka, and Muhova. And can win. She's a gold medal winner. I think any of those, especially Muhova, beats Iga this year. And remember, the Muhova-Iga championship, Muhova had that. She had that. And again, Iga did a couple things people weren't happy with. She held her up. The people weren't happy with that. Muhova should have won that title. That was very interesting. But again, I think the potential upset here is going to be Ekaterina. So watch out for that matchup. We're going to see if she gets past Emma, which I think she will. She's an underdog. Again, I think she gets past Amanda or Carly, whoever wins that. I think Amanda will win that. But Carly's going to challenge her. But I think Amanda, if she's dropping her bomb, she'll be fine. If she's mentally there, she'll be fine. But I think the upset's going to be Ekaterina. So stay tuned, guys. I'm your host, Good Energy. We're going to talk about the entire draw. I'm going to predict the entire tournament like I always do, or at least I'll try to. I got a few things going on. But stay tuned. Let's talk tennis, guys. Does Iga win it? I love Iga, right? Love covering her matches. Great talent, but I don't think Iga wins the Australian Open. Stay tuned.